I used to date a stunning French girl. Then one day, I learned that she had chosen another person and even opened a couple Instagram accounts with this man. Though I was pissed off, I did not chase after her. After 7 months, she heard that I was single again, and news reached me that she had broken up with her boyfriend. She suddenly texted me this: "Hi, Happy New Year, and I hope you are doing well. May it be filled with love, success, good health, and happiness." I thought to myself, Happy New Year? It is March now. I was invited to a company event once where I met someone I dated 8 years ago. Back then, I was inexperienced and I messed things up with her. Now she was looking at me but looked aloof. I felt she didn't care. I did not approach her but instead imitated her indifference. Since this party was characterized by heavy drinking, I joined the rest in drinking and having fun in general. At some point, I found myself deeply involved in a discussion with a guy who turned out to be the current boyfriend of this lady. He was a cool dude, and I did not mention I used to date his girlfriend. It had become quite late for me at around 3 a.m., and this time I was in a separate part of the room, drinking and enjoying alone. This lady noticed I was alone, and she approached me directly. She gazed into my eyes and said seductively, "Hey, do you still remember me?" Wow, I thought to myself. She acted like she didn't know me the whole time, and now she is approaching me when her boyfriend is in the same damn room? Interesting. I have dated a beautiful woman from China. She was a successful businesswoman, and I noticed she had a lot of men chasing her all the time. The thing about her is that she is a structured woman and has had a lot of ridiculous rules when it comes to dating her. Like, I could only kiss her only when we are exclusive, or do certain things only if we are past a certain number of dates. Naturally, I like to break rules, and I jokingly told her that her rules are her rules, and it doesn't apply to me. When I finally managed to sleep with her, the sex was so bad. I have mentioned before that most sex will happen within the first 5 dates, but this particular woman took about 6 dates before it happened. However, our differences eventually led me to end the relationship in person. Fast forward 6 years later, she found out I was single again and started following me on social media. She was always liking my posts, but I wasn't interacting with any of her content. When she couldn't hold it anymore because of my inaction, she started to slip into my direct messages and was basically trying to start a conversation with me. She was putting herself into my orbit. There's an approach which re-attracted these women back to me. That approach is the proper use of no contact. At the end of the video, you will learn how to properly use no contact and ways to accelerate progression. This powerful approach has always worked for me. These 3 women I mentioned were women that I was once obsessed with. If you are dumped, being disrespected, flaked, or obsessed with someone, the no contact concept would most likely work for you. For no contact to work, that woman must have been someone you were in a relationship with, dated for some months, or someone you slept with. Most importantly, that person should have had some form of emotional connection with you. If the above-mentioned conditions are not satisfied, no contact will make no sense. You have to understand that it will not work on somebody whom you are one-sidedly attracted to or simply have a secret crush on. When I was much younger, my concept of no contact was to resist initiating contact, holding off texting or calling for 3 days, and then resuming text bombing. When I became older, I simply extended the duration of 3 days to 2 weeks. As you might expect, both of the above did not work. Those women with whom I initiated contact saw me as weak. That was the time when looked inward at what I was doing wrong with them. It was an opportunity to develop my emotional self-control. So, how do you do no contact the right way? An important mindset to have is not to have any attachment to the duration of when she initiates contact with you. It doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks, a month, or 6 months. The idea is that you do not initiate any form of contact or interaction forever. I repeat, forever. This means you do not call or text her, you do not like her social media content, you don't watch her Instagram or Facebook stories. But this does not mean that you block her on social media, because that will backfire and you end up looking ungentlemanly, which does not serve the purpose of re-attracting her back to you. It's crucial to avoid social media stalking, as constantly checking their profiles undermines the purpose of no contact and can lead to unnecessary emotional turmoil. If you lack self-control, I would suggest muting her content instead of blocking her. The idea is to create this gap which you have once filled, this gap and space that you once occupied. Once she realizes about this gap, she will feel uncomfortable. This discomfort will cause her to miss you. Hence, when you do not reach out or interact with any of her social media, she will inevitably make a move and reach out to you first. One key thing to remember is not to ignore her. The idea is you want her to reach out first. If you are known as someone who is very responsive to texts and calls, and normally you reply instantly and now suddenly you're ignoring all of her messages, you will be seen as someone who is manipulative and playing games. You can respond at a later time, but never ignore a woman. No contact works a bit like rejection. Most people don't handle rejection well, especially women. When you pull no contact on them, it creates anxiety in them. That anxiety and not handling rejecting well creates attraction and focus back on you again. Most of the time, she might even start by stalking your social media again and try to find out what you have been up to. It is important not to post yourself with another woman to make her jealous. That is a bad move and a wrong way to get her attention. The idea is to post stories that you are out having a good time or stuff that hints you might be in a location where other women are available. Your stuff should generate curiosity and you let her imagination run wild. Women are very curious creatures. Let her curiosity drive her to contact you. Before I share these steps to help make your no contact period more bearable, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on my latest videos. I understand that no contact can be uncomfortable, but sometimes the counterintuitive approach of walking away can actually attract her back. Start by removing all signs of her from your immediate environment. This includes pictures and any reminders that may trigger you to think about her. Instead of deleting her pictures entirely, I suggest backing them up to an external hard drive. This way, you're not erasing memories, just putting them out of sight for now, especially on your mobile phone. Next, you can also keep her gifts and mementos somewhere away. The idea is not to let these objects and pictures trigger you to miss her, especially when you are alone or sad. In times of weakness, you do not want these to cause you to slip up and initiate contact, thus breaking no contact. While I don't advocate sleeping with other women immediately after a breakup, I do believe that interacting with members of the opposite sex can be beneficial during the no contact period. The sooner you can start, the better. Personally, I find it challenging to be intimate with someone new right after a breakup, but going on casual dates with attractive women helps me regain perspective. It reminds me that there are plenty of beautiful women in the world I have yet to meet. So what do you do when no contact finally works and your girl reaches out to you? First of all, you don't want to look petty, passive-aggressive, or sound sarcastic. Simply respond with something along the lines of, "Well, it's good to hear from you. I have been busy. Let's catch up in person. When are you free?" Some men are able to reconnect with their girl after no contact and are all right. She has slept with someone else and then realized that actually he was better. If you're cool with that, fine. For myself, I prefer a good woman who was healing during no contact and kept herself for me. The conclusion was eventually when no contact worked for me, I rarely wanted them back. It is never a good idea to take a woman back after she is disrespected or dumped you. I would like to end this video with a quote. In order to hear, one must be silent. If you have any questions or topics about dating that you're curious about, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I look forward to addressing them in future videos.